7 o'clock, call the meeting, the annual meeting for the town of Wheaton to order. Rise and say the pledge of allegiance and sign for service first. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is the meeting of annual meeting
Is that in your room?
of town people. And we've got copies of the meeting minutes and the financial report for the past year. That's also there, so if everybody's looked at that, we need motions to approve them and
I have a comment before we do that. Can I do that?
yeah.
Okay. That's point 8. Says Wheaton residents would like to have more information on candidates running for town board positions. The town can only make residents aware of who's running, and the residents need to seek out this information. The town can't present detailed information about candidates. This could be viewed as the town promoting certain candidates. Obviously, over the last 2 years, there has been a violation very dramatically by one of our town employees. And I want people to be made aware of that because I'm going to be supplying some additional information.
Well, yeah, can you bring that up here? But for the, I mean, this is what was discussed last year, the meeting minutes, are they correct from the last meeting? That's what we gotta, if you wanna bring that up again, that's fine,
Yeah.
but do it, the meting minutes are,
Okay.
is that
Yeah,
correct?
okay.
Or, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, that's a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Okay.
So, if that's what was said, then that's what was said. Well, if this is correct, or otherwise if there's some alterations, then yeah, here's the chance to change the meeting minutes, but.
Mark,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Tom Paul for an hour.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Need a second.
I'll second.
Motion made by Paul Krimenauer, seconded by Wayne Miller to accept the meeting minutes from the 2018 annual meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now let's look at the financial report. Need a motion on that too, or discussions about it, either one. Or both.
I just wanted to share with you, if you think I'm not busy during this time, oh, where is it? Oh, anyhow, I had a little note. Did you take my note?
No.
Okay, but from like December 12th all the way through February 7th, I collected $2,500,000 and some for the town. And then there's still some that for Patty, the county chair, she collects the rest. And that brings our total up to like 4 million that we have. So our town has grown so much that when I first started, it was nothing like that, you know. So now it's just, we just keep growing and expanding, and that's a good thing. So.
I would have a question, Mark. Will you remind me of how the town is currently using the capital fund and what we're, in the event of, if there appears to be a budget excess? Again, does that go into, the excess go into the capital fund? Just, instead of me rambling, just remind me.
The excess, if there's any excess at the end of the year, that is put in as income for the town. So that's counted as town and it's an offset to the town budget, to the levy is basically what it actually is. So any money that's left,
Say that again, offset to the levy.
so,
Still, the town still levies the full
Yeah.
amount that they're allowed to levy.
well, we have been, because they don't give us much of a raise anyway, so it's a couple $1,000s a year, but that their money is just put back in as income for the next year in the next budget. That's what we've been doing with it. Some of it is capital, so we're keeping it in a fund for the roads. There's some stuff in here. What's that? Capital outlay, so we have a highway capital outlay, so that's a budgeted amount of 150,000, and we budgeted each year, we're just leaving it at 150, because we're not growing that amount anymore, because now maybe we should start looking at what the price of the truck is, maybe it's way more than that, and we need to put in 10, 12, 20 more, I don't know, but we've got the money in for a $140,000 bridge, the 90th, and so we've got that. We've got money that we keep in there. And then the unspecified capital outlay is the one that we have for operating expenses. And what the board voted several years ago was to try and keep that fund at about $320,000 to $340,000, that we have that at the end of the year for operating capital, so that we don't end up being short on money at all. So that we don't have to go take short-term loans for things if we run into something like needing to do a whole bunch of snow removal in 1 month or something. So, so that's where that's put in, and then that's just put into the budget again as income. Each year that's put in as income, and then it's taken back out in those funds. And then it's put,
You put in 800 and some odd thousand, and you're going back, 897 back into that.
right. So that's how that's being handled, so that it's always accounted for right there. And as of December, the end of December, we ended up with 1,642,000, right? Isn't that what that's how much,
It fits on there, yeah.
that's what we had,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Which is $1,072,000 of December receipts, which is actually 2019 budget money. So what we really ended up with was about $691,000 is what we ended up with at the end of the year. Which is that, in here it's 697 at the end, capital outlay was 697, we ended up with 691. That's what we should have ended up with, 697, or really close to that, so we ended up with $6,000 of what we had intended, so. Now, this year's budget, we're going to have, just because of the amount of snow removal we had this year, we're going to have to really look at that one as we do our road work. We're gonna have to add all that up before we award any road bids, because that's part of the highway expenditures fund, so, which is in here also. It's revenues. Public Works, so that'll be in that section, right? Because see, last year we had 1,300,000, this year we have 1,000,000 or something in there. We don't have the 303,000 this year. Because that was from a grant, so I think that's the way that went. So we got the money that it's about where the budget, we thought the budget was gonna be last year, so it stayed about right there, so. Any other questions? Need a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded, made by Wayne Miller, seconded by Dale Hayden. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Rest of the meeting is up to you guys. So whoever wants to speak. Go ahead.
Alright, Kevin.
Do we need to be up here or we're good? Okay.
I wanna thank you, you did a great job plowing snow, your crew did this year as far as I'm concerned,
Thank
under the circumstances, that they did a great job. But I'm gonna give you a suggestion, Lenny about this. A few years ago, when I was chairman, we started buying extra salt at the when the price was low in the summer, and we always stored a couple dump truck loads in the shed, and Lenny said you guys discontinued doing that. Now this just what Lenny
Go ahead.
Okay, but I would suggest that you continue doing that, because if you run out of salt in the winter, it is.
No, we're supposed to have a couple loads in the shed.
All right, so thank you.
No, and we're
for
supposed to be,
clarifying that, but-
right, and we're going to be purchasing that here this spring, or, beginning of the summer is when we're gonna buy all that, so, yeah.
And
That's
for the
okay.
electors, it's important that we have that on hand,
Yeah.
a couple extra loads, because you can get sand in the winter, but you don't always, you're not
Oh, yeah,
always able to
this last year you couldn't get salt, Eau Claire County was really,
And I don't know if you're still buying it from Dunn County, the
Yeah.
salt, but we were able to buy it cheaper there than anyone else at that
yeah,
time.
yeah, still buying it from there. Yeah, and we will be buying that this spring, or summer here, but actually the order is in already. I think we got the order in already to them, so make sure that we got on the list straight away for it, so. Yeah, we'll get that in well before next winter, so, yeah. Anything else?
I have three things if no one else has anything to say.
Okay.
Okay. First one is your recording meetings. Majority of the current members of the Wheaton Town Board have been against audio recording of the Wheaton Town Board meetings, the planning committee meetings, and the park board meetings. And that is a known fact. There is no really any good reason not to do that. Several members said if the Wheaton residents want to know what is going on and what is said at the meetings, they should attend the meetings. That is a lousy reason not to make the meeting recordings available. What if someone is disabled, has to work, has family commitments for their children, etc., etc.? Many reasons people cannot attend. What are these people that decide not to do that afraid of? It took the previous town board, which I'm calling myself the previous town board, that had people who wanted our township residents to know what is going on to start audio recordings at these meetings. A funny thing happened on the way to our new town board. It has been decided not to make these audio recordings available for town residents from our planning committee and park board. They record them, but they don't want to post them. I like to hear reasoning for that. We are asking that the recordings be put on our Wheaton Township postings so everyone can know what is going on. You would be surprised at what you are missing. Don't we want to know? We should vote to have these recordings posted. And looking around here, I can't see where we're gonna get a vote to do that, but I cannot see a reason not to have those posted for people. If you're gonna record them, why don't you make them available? That, to me, is idiocy. So can I make a motion to post those?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you look back in the minutes, I don't remember exactly which month. Alice, you keep pretty good record, you probably pick it up faster.
Oh, when was it,
If I
Scott? Was that
remember-
February?
I believe it
Let me
was,
put that one.
Voted on it,
Excuse me?
I can go get a copy of the minutes if we need to.
Yeah, wasn't it
Oh,
February?
what, for when?
I believe it was February.
Of,
I remember
of,
correctly, they
town
voted.
meetings? You're wanting a copy of the town meetings?
Yes,
Meeting
it was
minutes?
February 2019.
It was voted on by the board to have them recorded, they could keep them at the fire station, the planning and the
Thank
fire
you, Ruth.
commission, to be recorded and made available to the public if they missed it. It didn't say anything about posting.
When we say made available, we're making an assumption there that's going to be on our Wheaton site. And if I would have voted not to do that, that would have been a big mistake. And if that's the case, we should vote to put that on the Wheaton postings. And I can't understand why anybody thinks that. Why don't we want to know what the people in those committees are saying? Because I know some reasons why they don't want them. But I think everyone else should hear the same thing that I hear. I go to most of those meetings. And I've heard a lot of things there that that put on the minutes. And obviously, if we're not going to put them in the recording for other people to hear, it's a waste of time. Just take the recording, take it back, and don't record anything because we don't have use for it. None. Now you tell me a reason. Someone else give me a reason that should not be posted. What would be a reason?
My name's Dora Wood, I'm a member of the Parks Commission.
Pardon me?
I'm Dora Wood, I'm a
Yes.
member of the Parks Commission. As a Parks Commission member, I think as I speak for mostly Ruth, and they're not here, so as we had discussions about, should our meetings be recorded, again, and that was, again, not our decision, because that is your decision to ask us to record those or not. One of the, I guess, reasons that we were a bit against that is we are an appointed commission by you, as far as our town board. When I say you, I mean the town board, who are elected officials who are accountable to the public. The decisions that we make come from within the group, I mean, obviously, but they're recommendations to the town board. And so we are a group of volunteers who are volunteering our time, and so we're a think tank, and we just, it gives us the freedom. We just feel free to be able to throw out ideas and not have our ideas be taken out of context by, them being recorded and somebody grabs a snippet and maybe misunderstands them, which again, they're welcome to come to meetings. And that could probably happen if they are recorded and somebody could come to a future meeting and ask questions about that. But we just kind of felt that it would be a deterrent to everyone bringing in ideas and that flow of ideas if those were made out there for somebody to take a misrepresentation to.
So why do we record them if you're not gonna have it available? to
Well, that
people?
was not my decision.
I know, but that's what the
board's
decision, that is a decision we made to record it. So all those things you were afraid of hearing on that recording have been recorded. So why can't we hear them?
The motion was very specific. In the minutes it states, a motion was made by Steinmetz Beckwith to maintain current meeting locations and record the Plan Commission and Parks Commission meetings, but the recordings will not be uploaded to the website.
We never said that. You may have put that in there, but that was not said, just like some of those other things.
The
that were
motion-
that were on last month's minutes, about having a legal team review the Facebook.
That comment was made, Herb. The comment was made.
Okay, let's hear it.
You wanna hear it?
Yep.
It's gonna be hard to tell when it happened. That's not me. I believe that comment was made towards the end of the meeting.
Did we
don't know what,
Wasn't voted on. It was a comment that was made.
So if it wasn't voted on, how was it decided not to do it when all the other meetings that we have here are recorded and we post those? Did we say that we voted on posting the regular town board meeting, or did we just assume that was gonna happen?
On the agenda, it was specific to recording the Parks and Plan Commission. We can pull the agenda if you want to.
No, what I'm saying is, if we did that, and I don't think we did it, but if we did it, why aren't we posting those?
The motion was specific. I just read you the meeting minutes.
I know what you read me,
You wanna hear the recording? We can replay it.
yeah.
The motion that you made to
The motion I made not to have it posted,
record the meetings but not post them to the website.
I would have never said that. If I said that, that was a mistake, and, we need to change that.
Do you wanna hear it?
I wanna know
We can
why,
hear it.
I wanna know from the people why we would not want to post that to our Wheaton post. I wanna know that. I want a good reason, not one that says, well, we don't want people to hear what we say, so, you know. I mean, that's a pathetic excuse. We recorded it.
I would support those who are volunteering their time. I'm gonna speak in support of those who volunteer their time for this township. And in the manner that was spoken of, we should have the freedom to express what is on our mind
That's right.
and allow the group that you're with to come to a conclusion, and your sole purpose is not, we don't ever make policy, I'm talking planning and parks. But that is exactly what that's there for, is to openly discuss the issues that these people that represent the town that are not voted on, they're voluntary. They should be able to
They get paid, they get paid.
that they can say what is on their mind
They get paid,
without
Kenny.
being chastised by someone that they are wrong. That's the wrong place to, as a town elected representative, now you are obligated to lead, take that information and vote on it.
These people get paid.
They're volunteers. The firemen get paid.
I would expect that, I guess. So in other words, why are we recording them? We should probably make a motion not to record them anymore if it bothers people that much, and they do not want to hear they do not want the town people to hear what they're saying. That's what we're saying, so let's, one of your future meetings, just forget the recording.
Aren't the minutes on the Wheaton Post? It used to be,
On the website.
yeah, the website.
I'm gonna bring those right, and I want you to download all that information.
I can do that.
Yep. Anybody else have anything? Cause I do, they don't. Anyone else, or should I continue?
go ahead. I mean, anybody else have anything else, or? Go ahead.
Okay, the next thing is the comprehensive plan. Planning committee is working on our comprehensive plan for the township. This plan tells us how we want to operate in the future. Process has been a slow train, and the reason why is because certain groups of people don't want people on the board that don't agree with them, as far as I can tell. Several people on our current town board have already made up their minds about some very important parts of the comprehensive plan. They have decided where our future commercial development will occur. And this was discussed at one of the meetings that I attended in the planning committee. Several meetings ago, two of the people now on the current town board who were on the planning committee said they want to have new commercial development occurring further down Highway T and down east on Highway X. They said that. That's on the table. Why? I think we know why. One of the current town board members says the neighbors don't want to go west on X because it would be too much noise. That person lives down there. Now, I've talked to people going the other way, and they say the same thing. Now, I've also talked to someone down there who has land down there that says they would like it to come down there because their land's gonna be worth a lot more when Eau Claire annexes it. So they want to move the commercial development closer to Eau Claire, where annexation by Eau Claire would certainly occur. Planning committee is interviewing possible consultants to work on this right now. These consultants, in my mind, should not be from Eau Claire, and I'm not sure who they're talking to, but I'm assuming they are. Any comment on that?
Yeah, I got a comment.
Go ahead.
We should probably get the recording out from that meeting, now that you bring up recordings, because you'll find, Gary DeMole brought it up about commercial on that, on X. And, I explained, I did speak on that, and I explained that there's certain steps we have to address, that we already did cover that in an earlier planning commission meeting. Until the comp plan got further along, we got the ordinances done, and that it was step by step we had to do it. We couldn't be jumping all over. And then when we got to it, we discussed that. You asked me at that meeting, where did you have in mind? And I says, for an example, someplace where there's off, because Highway 20th is gonna be shut down.
I did not ask you that.
Let me finish, it's my turn to talk. 30th and 40th are gonna be shut down, and so is 50th. So there's only gonna be certain places you can get on that road. And I said, we'd have to look at it when the time came. And that's what was discussed at that, and it's on that tape, if you wanna listen to it.
I'm going to.
Because Gary has heard this twice already, and has apparently a hard time understanding it. And I can see you do too.
Yeah, and, but we're talking about going down T, where now there are plans for four lanes down there. I've talked to people down there, they're not at the meeting tonight, that says, why are you doing that? How, you know how much traffic goes down T? Have you been down there on a busy day?
Tons.
Oh yeah, tons of it. And where is that development gonna be then? You've already decided that.
No, we haven't.
But we have a current comp plan map, and that map outlined for the commercial development by that group at that time decided, and that was a township-wide map. Everybody had input on it and agreed to that's where the commercial development should be built. And we were to review that plan, and we tried this a couple of years ago, to have a complete review of that plan. And that's what that hearing was for, but it got so focused on certain parts of the plan, we never got to look at, is that still a good plan, as we know it? But that's the only way you can change that map. Otherwise, if you are going to follow the comp plan, you can't just pick the pieces that you like, or the pieces you don't like, and just throw them out. The township, through this group, decided what that comprehensive plan was gonna be. The board has a certain responsibility to follow what we told you.
I understand that, but this is a new plan now.
Well, there isn't a new plan, you don't have a new map.
We
That's
will.
what you need to develop, and then do
Exactly.
a hearing process.
I agree with you 100%.
We need to be able to vote on that, the people
Exactly.
need to be able to vote on that.
Exactly, but the thing of it is, the input that these consultants are going to get has been determined by quite a few people on a planning committee already. And that, to me, is sad. That should not be happening.
Well, that's not a public hearing process. Public hearing process is they bring the questions to the public, just like they develop the plan.
Right.
And the public hearing process puts input into that plan.
But I know when
And they
you,
come back with what the public said.
and when you've got the planning committee and you've got people there with already some ideas in their mind, they can bend the consultant's ear pretty good.
Like it's been done in the past.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen that map.
I agree with you. Okay.
Yeah, we need, I mean, all of this has to go to, if it's land use, it has to be it has to be decided by the public at a public hearing. The public has the right to speak up, I mean, and it's not the plan commission that's going to be doing that. I mean, the plan commission needs to facilitate that and make sure that the public gets to have their input. Okay.
We are a zone township. Anything that anybody wants to do can go to the county and apply for a conditional use permit, and you can operate pretty much anything you want within the conditions of that permit. So we have a system by which if people want to start a commercial business, they can do it anywhere in the township. The township will be asked, do you want it there? that's the only input we have. We don't get voted up or down. The county, through the conditional use permit process, he puts it out there. We had a group come to us, wanted to build a church on our land. And the township said yes. There's a whole bunch of the town residents that showed up at the county zoning and that meeting where they were gonna determine that, they turned it down. So they have the ultimate authority.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from the planning committee. There's a wedding venue up on N. I think all but one person on the planning committee said, we don't want that up there. We had to vote, 3 members of this board had to vote to say, yes, we do want it up there. And to me, it's going to be a great thing up there, but when people already have their minds made up, no, because I have no idea why no, it's very difficult when you're coming from the planning committee with a recommendation of no.
I think, Herb, I think that the Cooks, that's a bit of a misstatement about what that issue was about that. That issue about that was more, should that be rezoned as commercial as opposed to a conditional use for in an ag land? Because at the time, the county didn't allow that in ag. They do now. They had already said they were going to allow it. It was going to take them 3 or 4 months. And if they waited, they would be able to get a conditional use instead of a rezone. The problem with the rezone, because I voted against that, because the problem with rezoning that to agriculture, right, or to commercial right there, is now they can put in anything that is commercial at whether or not the town likes that at that location. That wedding venue was not a problem. I mean, the wedding barn issue wasn't a problem, and it never was a problem. It was the rezoning of it, and all they had to do was get a conditional use permit, and then they would have been able to do it anyway, and it would have stayed ag, like it should, because that's what it really, the township, we want to keep it as much ag as we can, and then we can have conditional uses, and that way, if it turns into something that the town people don't want, they have something. Right now, they can make it anything that's commercial, anything that's allowed in the county zoning for commercial use, they can put on that site right now, and there's nothing the town could do about it because it's zoned commercial. That's the problem with commercial. You got to be careful about. Whether that, and if the town wants to make everything commercial all the way along in, all the way back to Chippewa, then that's what we can do. We can do that. That's fine too. That's not what our comprehensive plan said we were going to do though. So that was the big problem with it, was only that. Well, it had nothing to do with their business. Their business is fine. I don't think that it's a problem for them to operate the business like that. They can make money out at it, have at it. I'm happy for them.
Excuse me, that was during the period when the county said no more conditional use permits, correct?
No.
No.
They agreed to that, and they actually said that they allow wedding barns with a conditional use permit wherever they're asked
At
for.
the time, though, that we were dealing with it, they didn't allow
They didn't allow that in an ag.
conditional use, exactly.
Right, they didn't allow it in an
They
ag,
do
but they
now.
were working on
Yeah,
getting it changed,
they
and
do
it took
now.
them about 3 months,
Yeah.
3 or 4 months
Well,
to get it through the county board zoning and through the county board has to vote on it, so it took them 3 or 4 months, and then when they voted on it before the Cooks ever really got their stuff going to getting it together, so really it didn't make a difference other than now we've got that commercial land there. And the town has now agreed to have commercial land there, so, and now that would be real hard to change that back, so, as long as they don't want it changed. Go ahead.
I guess being this discussion's up, Ken Custer, I would really encourage, and I'm thankful that we are hopefully gonna have a good review process again of our comprehensive plan, and we get an opportunity to review the things that our current comprehensive plan said that we were going to do. And one of those things that we were going to have ordinances that protect the environment. That was, we were going to make efforts, and that is try to do that again, to bring that up, that we have a reason to protect good farmland. Because we have some nice chunks of farmland within the township yet that are currently in production ag that should be preserved for that. And we need to talk about that. We need to have a format that we can have open discussion. And then another misconception is that City of Eau Claire and the City of Chippewa do not annex land. The owner of that land petitions the city. So that's always said, it's a misconception, the city does not annex land except that the owner petitions the city to do so. And the only reason that a Wheaton resident would petition the city to annex land is they have a more favorable reason to do so, whatever it would be taxes, development, whatever it would be. And so the township really needs to think about that. You can just sit back and complain, or you can be very proactive and withhold and keep that tax base if you work with those property owners next to those areas in next to municipalities.
But it makes it,
The city does not come out and just grab land. They can buy it.
but it makes it a lot easier if you decide that your commercial expansion is gonna be closer and closer to the city. Because once you get closer and closer, it's a lot easier for someone who owns that land to say to the city, how about annexing this land?
I have land.
I understand that.
Right now.
Yeah.
And I'm farming it, I'm gonna keep farming it, as long as I feel that that's the right thing to do with that thing. But right now, with the current ordinances of Wheaton Township, it would be much more favorable for me to annex that land into the city of Eau Claire. Point blank. If I were going to do something other than farming. Just put you on notice, that is the way it works.
And the closer we get to those limits, those city limits and such, the easier it is gonna be for people like you and other people that have large sections of land to do that. There's no
You
doubt
control
about
it.
that.
The township could try to work with and have a progressive development plan. But if all you sit and do is complain about the city, that's not a plan.
No, I agree. But I don't want, like you said, we need to talk about it. What I don't want is to have decisions made ahead of time, talking to a consultant and saying, hey, maybe we should be doing this. I don't want that. It's gotta be the people. It can't be
You're right.
some people on, 6 people that are on the planning committee and 3 of them already say, I think I know what we should do. We don't need to hire a consultant if we're gonna do that.
That's right, waste of money.
Waste money. We already did that once.
We wasted $1,000 already trying to do that. And nothing done.
Will that increase the value of the land?
What's that?
Will that increase the value of the land such as, I'm well aware of how you annex, but wouldn't that be dollar signs? Wouldn't that be the idea? And not you, I'm not referring to.
Sure, it's me.
Well, you're one of them, but I mean,
No, I'm telling you the
Ken, say if I was the one
the
that,
facts of the matter. I don't care if it's me or somebody.
say
else.
if I had 5 acres adjoining that, would that be more valuable if I sold it or not?
What, 5 acres adjoining what?
Adjoining the, the city, all, the annexation would have to go directly with the city, you know, you can't hopscotch, skip
That's right.
around.
Well, if I annex my property, now the city boundary has moved that much farther out of Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm,
That's what happens.
mm-hmm.
I don't know that my property that I annex is gonna be more or less valuable. That would be, I don't know, I don't.
Ken, I'm not referring
More
to
than
you,
likely, if I were to get pushed out of that area because of residential development, and that's probably what will happen, because of residential development, I can no longer operate in an efficient manner to farm that piece of property. More than likely, I'm just gonna sell it. And I'm just telling you, if I sell it to somebody who doesn't care about the town of Wheaton, it's gonna get annexed into Eau Claire. Unless town of Wheaton changes its mindset and says, we need to be progressive. Because those who provide the services get the tax base out of that. It's not out of the question that Wheaton would have a water district and provide those services down T, if you would think along those terms. It's not out of the question at all. You
Wouldn't-
can't do it if all you do is sit and complain about Eau Claire.
Wouldn't that be an incentive though, Ken, for example, if someone was on the line and wanted to annex, would their land be worth more now or then?
Then being what?
Then being right, they happen to have their land right next to Eau Claire and it can be annexed. Now, I would assume that land would be a little more valuable through annexation than it would be just sitting there.
Well, in reality, no, because right now I can sell, I've got about 25 acres. And I can sell by Wheaton ordinance, I can sell 5 lots on that 25 acres. The Eau Claire, city of Eau Claire restricts me to 2. So it's more restrictive, and they do that for the reason that when and if utilities were to come through that region, it will not be scattered with home sites that didn't have a plan. Now, if a developer were to buy that land, he may annex it, and he pays for the utilities to get hooked up to the city, and now he can divide that into 72-foot front lots, or 92, or whatever his development plan. Now he can probably put 50 homes on that 25 acres.
Well, to me, that's a fear of, of Eau Claire moving out there further and further. I mean, it just gives, for example, if my land is worth X number of dollars now, and I was right next to annexation, like the 4-lane highway came in, and I annexed, I believe that land would be worth more.
Okay, you're missing the point, though. It's not
Okay.
the value of the land to the owner, it's the value of the tax base that Wheaton Township lets slip away
Mhm.
if you aren't proactive. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. If you're content with thinking that your current ordinances are gonna prohibit annexation, you're wrong. Your current ordinances promote annexation.
So then we should be looking at whatever we have to do that does not promote annexation.
Your comprehensive plan should say, these are the areas that we are going to try to target, and what do we have to do to make sure that this land stays in its own Wheaton?
Right, and if that, and what
What
you're,
do we have to do?
there may be some utility development for certain areas. Places like commercial development out on N, all by itself, the Cooks, is not gonna get, the town of Wheaton can never provide services for them because they're away from everybody else. Unless all of it is out there, which you could do if that's what you did. But then if you did that, it wouldn't stop the annexation of people from annexing into the city of Eau Claire down on the county line. That's not going to deter that even a little bit. Actually, it wouldn't affect it.
That same situation in Chippewa, the fellow that
Yeah.
came and wanted to develop that land and wanted to stay in the town of Wheaton. I'm not sure where that deal's at.
Yeah,
We didn't-
he hasn't
we didn't
called
work well
collect.
with him. I wasn't on the board then, but we didn't work well with him. And I don't know whatever happened with that deal, but we need to listen to that plan a little closer and not be so staunch on that this could go the other way. This could go to the city of Chippewa. He needs to do what he wants within their plan.
Yeah, they would fill that, they could fill that whole lot full of houses. We wouldn't let them do that. And at the time he was saying he didn't wanna do that. He wanted large lots, and people wanted big houses, and they wanted lots of land. Whether that's, that's where all of that kind of, them provisions in an ordinance would have to be made so that it allowed that in certain areas and didn't allow it where we didn't want it to occur. Like, if we don't want it to occur in the big woods up here, then don't allow it there. Have it in the comprehensive plan to not allow that in certain areas. But, the things like all of the development down there on the corner of 10th and F, that whole thing, that was out, quadplexes put in there and annexed and built, and there was really nothing to do to stop that because our regulations wouldn't let them do what they wanted to do, so they just said, well, then the city of Eau Claire will let us do it. And they did. And we lost that tax base. I don't know, That's what you gotta look at. Is it worth fighting for that or not? And what do you have to give up to maintain those properties and maintain that tax base? Because you do have to, it's gonna cost the town something. It would cost the town something to do that, so. That's where the consultants are really necessary, I think. I mean, you gotta have people that really understand all that finance and all that kind of stuff to make recommendations. And the public should be people who don't have land there, people who do have land there. Everybody should be able to get some input on it, so. That's what we need to do, is make sure that everybody does have the input.
I got a comment to make. I've gone to most of the planning commission meetings in this field, and for a while there was a discussion of getting some other people besides the people on the planning commission involved, like a guy like you, Kenny. You were involved in it before. You obviously have some input, but that now has been taken off the table. To me, that's not right. We should have people that have some expertise or some knowledge or have some experience like you did to be involved in that group, but that's been taken off the table, and that's, to me, is wrong.
Anything else?
I have one last one.
Yep.
I'm reading it, now I'm gonna go back to these meetings, minutes that we had last year, where it says, Wheaton residents would like more information on candidates running for town board positions. The town can only make residents aware of who is running, and the residents need to seek out this information. The town can't present detailed information about the candidates. This could be viewed as the town promoting certain candidates. And we've had a problem for quite a while, and nothing's been done about it. And what I'm going to say here is, we need to do something about the management of our recycling center. For the last several months, and way before that, two of the people who are now on our town board have spent dozens of hours at the recycling center politicking for the town board. That's fine and dandy. They can do that. We've allowed to do that. We said we could do that. The problem is that the current manager of the recycling center spent many hours of his Wheaton paid time trying to help his buddies get elected instead of spending all of his time to do his job. And there are more than one person that will attest to that. He has confronted many residents of Wheaton who came to the recycling center to recycle their garbage. He called several of the members of the town board at the time, which I was on the town board, liars and criminals. That is shameful. This is taking taxpayer money to spend on libel and slander. He can do this on his own time, not mine or other Wheaton taxpayers' money. It's the town board's fiduciary responsibility to take care of this. This manager needs to either resign or be fired on the board, or the board has to anticipate further action. So.
Good.
When was the last time you were at the recycling center?
I don't go there.
How do you know how I do?
Yeah, because I have friends that go there.
Hearsay, right?
I have friends that go
It's
there.
hearsay.
Well, you can call it whatever you want.
You know,
Okay, let's keep it simple.
Gary DeMoe and I were friends. He would be there on Saturdays with me, the same as Alice would be on Saturdays and him. There was no question when Gary DeMoe was running, not at all. Why is there a question now?
It's illegal to do what you did.
You didn't say a thing about it when Gary DeMoe was running.
I didn't know what was going
You
on.
know everything else.
So in other words, you say that's fine and dandy. You can use Wheaton taxpayer money and time to go politicking for somebody.
I didn't.
That's exactly what you did.
Boy, what you call politic is not me.
Are you kidding?
No, you are.
Did you let the people
Okay,
use your
we're
office
not gonna
down
just
there or
argue
whatever
about
that-
it.
And I'd like to know, when I called, if it was Mark or Paul or who, a liar, I'd like to know what I called them a
I
liar.
never said that. I said you called others liars. Where do you get that calling him? I never said you called him a liar.
Somebody, I think Gary Moe wrote that in one of his.
Well, it ain't me, so don't say I did it.
I
Okay.
didn't say it, I said.
You did too, you said
I
that.
said-
Okay, we don't need to just argue with each other, let's get
I
to
have
a
a question
point, get
for
to a
you.
point.
Who do you think is supposed to be responsible for him?
Mark,
No, it's the town board, why didn't you do anything about it?
I didn't know about it until recently. I didn't know it was that bad. What are you going like this for? If you don't know about it, how are you gonna do anything about
Because
it?
you just said you knew about it. You've
I
known
do
about it
now.
for years.
I do now for
You've
the
known
last
about
3
it for
weeks.
years. It's been going on for
Oh,
years.
my
Okay, okay, let's keep it civil.
So do something about it.
Keep it
Oh,
civil.
you
Go
know
ahead,
what?
Jerry.
You know what? I am doing something about it.
If you're on water heading, I said, here, listen to me, you guys, arguing about old business. Why don't we go forward like we should go?
That's right, that's what I'm asking for.
So, I don't want an answer.
We need managers, that we need a new manager, that's forward.
When the planning commission makes a thing, they put a thing together at the end and state what they said they were gonna do. We don't wanna hear them talking about what they wanted to do. We want the last statement printed so we know what's gonna happen on TV. All these poor residents, 25 or 30 years ago, I went to the planning commission. Well, it was a waste of time to have the planning commission, because they didn't print nothing telling us what they wanted to have on TV. They still haven't seen a thing saying what they're gonna do with the Middle 4-lane highway on TV. None of that's been stated.
Right. And Jerry, right now, the West Wisconsin plan, something they call it, they got a long name. But they're the ones, and Eau Claire County is directing the 4-lane. So they're going to start putting plans out, and that's where the plan commission needs to be paying attention to what they're saying, because they're gonna plot out where they think the road ought to go, and then they're looking for input from the people. They're gonna look for input from you, from whoever, and from the plan commission, from the town board. So that's how the T issue, the 4-lane, that's how that's gonna get going. But you're right, I mean, that's gonna move forward is what it's gonna do. And then they're going to write a document that says, this is what we're going to do. They're going to survey the land. They are going to plot it out. It is going to be legal descriptions, and all of it's going to go
It
forward.
would be just like Highway 29, it came right across that, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot, any of us had to say about it.
There's nothing you could do but
Right,
have them condemn the land
right.
and go to and either hire a big shot lawyer or tell them, no. Write out, no.
Right.
Don't fool with them. That's the way you deal with Eau Claire too, mister. No.
Go ahead.
Alright, so I have one other thing, too, with it, looking back at the minutes from last year that was brought up. The board members that were going to, or that were signing up for, town meetings,
Oh,
conferences and stuff. The town's paying the money and then the town board wasn't showing up for them, so the town was just out the money. So the town was paying money for the conference and then they wouldn't go to the conference. So the town was out the money, and they said, and so the decision was made that they should have to reimburse it, so the town board, the members that missed, decided, well, then they should just take it out of their mileage, so everyone so there was a whole huge discussion over whether or not the town board gets mileage, and I guess it was decided that
They do.
they could,
yeah.
cause it was never really said that.
No, it was actually in meeting minutes, that was
it
voted
at
on.
one point.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Alice-
So-
I looked it up.
For,
Yep, we
for
get,
all miles.
Yeah.
we get mileage.
Okay.
We could if we wanted it, yeah.
So, no one's, as far as I know, on the board has ever turned in mileage
Right.
up until this issue has come about. So, to fix that issue, I'm gonna make a motion that the town board doesn't get mileage for anything outside, or only gets mileage for anything outside of 60 miles from the town hall. Coming to and from meetings, anything like that, if they have to do something in the town, they have to look at something, they're not getting mileage for it.
60 miles one way?
Over 60 miles one way.
One way.
If they go over that 60 miles, does it go back to the first mile? Or only miles
Yes.
over 60?
Yes, they will get back to the start.
Okay.
They will get the full mileage if they go over 60.
60.
Are you talking, Adam, are you talking all board elected officials or just supervisors? 'Cause we have elected treasurer and elected clerk.
Supervisors.
Just supervisors.
Yes, I think the clerk and treasurer, should get for years, cause they gotta go to the bank and do all that stuff, you know, on a regular basis, so it's not, where the town board is not doing that much mileage.
I just wanted to clarify.
But, yeah, no, good point.
Speaking in
So,
favor or against it.
Just supervise, not the chair either?
the chair and supervisor.
Chair and supervisor?
Adam, I'll argue about not putting many miles on, I put thousands of
I'm
miles.
not saying,
And I did get reimbursed for it.
well, I'm not saying you don't put on a lot of miles, but you're also getting paid a wage to come to a meeting a month, so. And the issue is we have a bunch of town board members that aren't showing up for meetings.
Right.
I agree with that.
And they got paid.
And they got paid for the meetings that they weren't attending, that's the issue.
I know.
So
Three,
I'm just
three
trying to
times.
Control
I know.
an open checkbook here.
Because there was a time that we had a convention in Green Bay and I wasn't able to make it because I got vertigos and I ended up paying back the town what it cost the town. Because it was right in,
Yep.
I agree.
So you made a motion, or what? A motion was made to no longer reimburse chairman and supervisor for miles unless it's over 60 miles
One way.
one way. So, gotta have a second for it, or not, one or the other. Seconded by Mike. Mike Crothers seconded it. Adam Plaskowski made the motion, Mike Crothers seconded it. I'm looking here to see if the annual meeting has the annual meeting has, that has the authority to set compensation of elected officers, authorize the board to fix the compensation of elected town officers under 60.321B. So that is part of the compensation of an officer. So they have the authority to do that. Now, so you can do that. I'll tell you right now that you can't change it right now. That all the board members right now that are elected, it only can go into effect at the next election. Can't go into effect this, for board members right now. It has to be after that board member position is re-elected. That's when it would go into effect. Not that it makes a difference to me anyway, either way, I don't care, but yeah, but yeah, you can do that.
Well, like Paul said, really, I've been on the board for 14 years, never took a penny. But like Paul said, the chairman, how many times a week do you figure at one time you went to Chippewa back and forth? I mean, 25 miles.
Probably not Chippewa because I was always in Chippewa every day. So I didn't write that down, but all the running around for permits and, running a county, Eau Claire County, we went to tons of meetings with Eau Claire County and with the city of Eau Claire. I mean, we were down in Seymour, town of Washington.
2,000 to 4,000 miles a year.
Yeah, it was easy.
I mean, that's what it is. Easily.
So what did we say, that we weren't gonna compensate the chair?
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong, you should be compensated if you got that many miles.
Go ahead.
When you look at our ordinance book, it's full of these kind of actions, when it was an action that was designed to really almost punish and prohibit something like that again, as opposed to, as a town supervisor, if you've got someone that has the time and they want to go out in their own time and do their job and supervise the township, they're gonna put a lot of miles on in the year. They're gonna go and check on the snow plowing job, so that when someone comes in and complains, they've got a little background, they got some knowledge. Now, I never turned in a dime either, but there may be people who need to. And if they want to provide that service, I understand the reason, but our ordinance book is full of stuff like that. It was written almost out of punishment for one occasion. And that, I am speaking against it, I guess, quite honestly.
Okay, any other discussion? Because we got a motion on the floor and it's been seconded, so
I guess it's not, I'm not meaning it as a punishment, I'm just trying to control the funds because,
Well, you're gonna
Because-
punish
well,
well-meaning people.
no, well, yeah, and that's how I'm trying because, but they're also getting paid for one meeting a month.
I get it,
So-
I understand clearly.
And so, then are we gonna start reimbursing the parks and the?
I'm not sure that's the mechanism we should
That's why they
use.
get the pay.
I think we should use a different mechanism to address the situation that you're speaking of specifically.
Okay, let's, you wanna
The board
vote?
can do
Which is
that.
fine if you have a
The
better
board
way to
can
do
do
it.
that.
You wanna vote on
Which
it?
is fine if you have a better way to do it.
Right, by, raising of hands, all in favor, raise your hand, and we'll take account.
What are we raising our hand for?
If you're in favor of the motion to not pay mileage to the town board supervisors and chairman.
Well, what if we
Except for
have
60
an
miles
interim
one
there
way.
where we pay it to the
Pardon?
town chairman, because obviously.
Well, motion is to pay, not to pay it to
So we can
anybody,
make
okay?
another
So
motion after
but we got a motion on the floor, we gotta vote on it. Okay?
For one way.
For 60 miles, as long as anything under 60 miles one way. All right, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, raise your hand.
What are we doing?
Motion fails. Okay, that was so the board members, as of right now, they still get paid for mileage if that's what they want to
What's
do.
the rate, by the way?
54?
50-something, I'd have to look it up, 50-something.
Is that set by the accounting, what's
The
legally
state.
allowed?
That's the state
IRS
rate.
rate.
The
So that's in
federal.
our ordinance, or that's.
Yes, that was
that
in the
changes
motion.
Whenever the IRS changes the.
That's
deal.
correct, and that was in the motion that was made in 1990, whatever.
At that time, it's probably 30 cents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
Maybe you should, make them keep a log, and then at every meeting, if they wanna get paid for it, they report how much it was.
Why don't they bring a reporter, what they come to learn is that.
Well, that's what we should be doing. If you're getting paid for mileage, the way it's
It
been,
should be that.
it was on a log. I mean, it was daily, what mileage there was, and you had to have it. Mark would never pay it unless you had it.
Right, you had to have a log.
You had to have a log, exactly where it was, you went and how far you went. That was always standard. And I think that's Scott's, he doesn't pay for anything unless there's a receipt and a proof that he's supposed to, so.
What we discussed when this, reimbursement stuff came up is that all mileage reimbursements had to be approved by the town chair before payment could be issued.
Yeah,
That's the way we're controlling that.
so, anyway, but, go ahead.
Comment, I'm just making a comment, but there was a comment made about the plan commission and stuff. I do believe that they used to get $25 per meeting or something, and that was supposed to be the stifle for the mileage, and weren't supposed to be.
Yeah, right. That's what it was for.
And I'm
That's
just
what it's for.
clarifying that.
Yep, that's what it's for.
It was mileage.
These guys get $400, and that's plus you want to pay them.
Right, but yeah, so right now, it's staying just the way it is. Unless there's something else you guys wanna do. Go ahead.
Well, this is what's up with us. As soon as we're done with that,
Wayne Miller. Go ahead.
the last, 17 days before election, I met 3 Saturdays that I campaigned down at the recycling center. I had several, and I mean several, dozens of compliments about the town crews and how well they had the roads opened up and plowed during those bad snowstorms. People couldn't say enough good about the town crews. I just wanna pass that along.
Along with some farmers that came out with
Yes.
vehicles and lots of other things that, yeah, people really pulled together on that one, really did. It worked out really well,
People did appreciate it, folks.
so. We'll be working on roads within the next couple of weeks, be analyzing some roads. We got 72nd Street, just so everybody knows, 72nd Street just blew all to pieces up, Soak Edition off of N. It's, really gotten destroyed here this winter. That wasn't on our radar, it is now. We've got 70th Street off of 50th down here that there's some problems with that. Now, the people living on that street, they aren't really looking to they don't want a new road. They just like to have the big holes filled in. So I think we're gonna be able to handle that one without a lot of problems. They only have 18 feet of pavement but they kinda like that. It's kind of private and keeps people from just driving down there for no reason. And it's just their houses there, you know, so. So we'll be taking care of that one. If anybody has anything that they need on roads, let me know. What roads need to be worked on. Paul, we're not working on yours ever. So.
That road's perfectly okay, but.
No. Go ahead, Paul.
20th Street, you know how that cracked up so bad after you guys paved it. Have you, and I read in here that you were gonna, chip seal that. What's the possibility of going in there and double chip sealing that?
Well, we can do that too. We can do that. That's.
But I mean, you look at this road here, 50th one, to the west, we double chipped that, the time we did that. And I think that really pays off, especially on a road like that. You got new pavement on there, and that road is really bad, but I think if you did a double.
Well, it's actually really good, it's just cracked.
Right, but that would cover your cracks.
No, I mean, you know, there's two things. There's cracking on the road is not so bad. It's when they start to fail and lose your base course. And that's what the chip sealing stops. Right. It stops you from losing your base, losing the fines out of your base. And so that road is definitely on for chip sealing this year. And whether that's a double chip or put a single chip on this year at 3/8 and then go back with the FA 25 or whatever they call that one. It's a smaller chip the following year because then you get the oil worked in a little bit more. We may do that. 50th Avenue from 40th Street to M, we double chipped that. That road we were mowing, it was so bad. It was grass growing through it so bad that we had to mow the thing. And we double chipped that. And that was what, 2-3 years ago now? And that road is actually, I drove it the other day just to see. It's actually pretty good shape yet. It's actually not bad because the base is really good. I mean, the base down there, and 20th Street is another one where the base is really good. It's just the surface is starting to crack up. So yeah, that one is on the radar, Paul. We've got that ready that one for sure is getting chipped this year. So, and it may be a double. Yeah, we single chipped 70th Street, 70th Avenue from 110th to the end of the road that we have with Tilden. They paid for half of it, and we single chipped that, and I think we're gonna go back and chip that again with smaller chips, not this year, but that road worked out, that worked really well. We did a little bit of patching on that, but that one turned out really nice too. So if you got any other, 30th Avenue, we're gonna have to do something with that from 40th to 30th. That one's starting to really get bad.
You ever do anything on the dump road, or swamp road, Kent over there?
It's actually not bad, our part of it isn't.
Yeah, it's they don't wanna do anything.
Well, but Howard did their part.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, and it's in good shape, but it's the middle section now that's really blown up. And we're gonna take a look at that. We do have that on our list to grind and pave, but we're only gonna do that if Colfax, that's Colfax, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If Colfax does theirs, then we'll do our part of it too.
I think there was a problem with that culvert on there, wasn't
Yeah. So that one we got 90th Street and 65th Avenue from 90th Street to 103rd or whatever it is, the corner there. That road is really shot now. We gotta get something done. So we're looking at all of them and we'll see what the bids come in at. But 90th Street is the next one after that to try and finish 90th Street. The rest of the other, what is that, 2 miles? That's 50, 60 mile and a little bit more, a mile and a half of 90th Street that we'd have to do yet, so. But yeah, any other, I drove around half the township here the other day. I haven't gotten to the east half, so whatever we gotta do over there. Did we ever get yours fixed, Jerry? 80th, going south, that culvert, that got fixed, didn't it?
Well, when he dumped the load of blacktop and gravel in there,
It's working.
holding up, yeah. It's still where the culvert is and where the curve is, it's still slowing down.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on that one, try to maybe get that stable, yeah, so.
How's that road over by Vern Swoboda, where they put that new tower in, how's that holding up?
110, 15th,
145th?
115th, going south off of N.
How's that doing? Because,
Oh, it's blowing up. That's one we're gonna have to repave.
but that one, they went, when I was on board, we got some blacktop patch from Sen, and that was not set up. It went forever, but it worked out really well, because then it worked into the bad spot, so. But it took forever for that to set.
Yeah, I've talked to the people out there, and they said they're gonna let us have the land and put in a turnaround at the end of that one, so that we can get a cul-de-sac in there, get it big enough so that we can turn around, don't have to back them trucks all the way out like we're having to do. So it sounds like that one is one of them that's on the list to get taken care of too. So we have that within the next 2 years.
The city wanted you to, what do they call it, so no one develops on that road, because that could be an outlet for the city eventually.
Going south.
Correct.
Yeah, I looked at all of that. They better have a lot more money than what they got now. That's some pretty big wetlands to cross down there, but it's possible. It's something that we looked at too, that, you know, do we do something to put it on the official map? But we'll have to, that's something else the Plan Commission has looked at over the last several years, is official maps and stuff like that. That's part of the Plan Commission. So. Anything else? People still know what happened to the tax? Everybody's assessment went way up. Everybody knows why and how that all works. So hopefully the assessment went up, but the mill rate will go down. So it's supposed to balance it all. The state has been doing their job. Shouldn't have a big effect on your taxes. So. But we'll have open book is the 24th.
Yes.
Sounds right, yeah.
Oh, and then what's the other one? The open book and board of review.
26.
Board of Review is in May.
Board of review is in May.
May 22nd, isn't it? 22nd.
April 24th.
Let's make sure what day it is.
Yeah.
It's April 26th.
April 26th?
I don't know.
That's the open book.
Yes, that's open book.
Or, no, it's gotta be the 24th or 25th.
No.
May 22nd is the Board of
Yeah.
Review.
that's
Board of review, and the open book is when?
April
26th.
26th.
Is it April 26th? Okay.
It's my birthday.
Okay, so, all right, anything else? There's no other discussions, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion made by Wayne Miller to adjourn, seconded by Andrew Wood. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Why are you taking me?
No.